Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Financial Survival Network is presented to you by Regal Assets. Buy and sell physical gold and silver through your existing retirement plan, 100% tax-free with Regal Assets. If you want to include physical gold or silver in your existing IRA or old 401k, request your free investment kit, which was recently featured in the Forbes and Smart Money Wall Street Journal magazines. Call toll-free 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620, or visit regalassets.com. You're listening to the financialsurvivalnetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1590 WPSL. You probably have the same fear as me. One day you wake up and none of your credit cards work, your ATM card, nothing, because you become a victim of identity theft. And then what do? Well, if you listen to Dale Penn, he'll tell you how to avoid it in the first place, and if it does happen, how to get through it with your reputation and your sanity intact. Dale Penn, welcome to the Financial Survival Network.
Kerry, it's good to talk to you again.
And you as well. So you were a victim of identity theft, right?
I was a victim. My wife and I discovered that we were the victims of the same crime as Frank Abagnale was guilty of. If you remember the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio, he portrayed Abagnale, who was a check fraud artist. And we discovered one day that we were victims of check fraud. Someone had written bad checks all over town. We didn't know what to do, didn't know where to turn, certainly felt victimized. And as a result, I learned how to overcome the ordeal of having your identity stolen.
And when you are a victim of identity theft, when your identity is misappropriated by a criminal, your life comes to a crashing halt, doesn't it?
It really does. You know, identity theft is the fastest growing crime in the United States. It's also simultaneously, Kerry, the most under-prosecuted crime in the United States. It outpaces drug trafficking for the first time in the world. So the number one crime, which outpaces the drug trade, is identity theft. It's a big threat, and unfortunately, 1 in 5 Americans is going to be a victim in the next 2 years.
That's incredible. And identity theft is really kind of a crime that fits in with the psyche of working from home, doing your business on the internet. So you're a criminal. You never have to get out of your bathrobe and your slippers. You just go to your computer, you buy Social Security numbers and people's names and identifying information right on the internet, and then you go to work.
That's right. You know, there are 3 things that I like to say. You know, we're vulnerable because of the mobility of our society. You know, we're a very mobile people in the United States. We're also vulnerable because of the anonymity of the internet. So the combination of our mobility and the bad guys' mobility and their anonymity, thanks to the internet, combine that with another word, ubiquity. It is everywhere. So we are universally anonymous and mobile, and that's what makes it so hard to put a dent in this crime.
And what can you do, Dale? What are 3 things you can do to help prevent identity theft?
Well, it's a good question. You know, I like to share with people right off the bat that, I like to share hopeful ideas, things that are going to give you a little bit of hope about your ability to protect your privacy, to protect your nest egg, to protect your loved ones, to protect your identity, to protect everything that's valuable to you. And there are really 3 things you can do. Number 1, you've got to be a little bit more aware of how to protect all your personal information. And most of us don't think twice about how much personal information we reveal every single day. But personal information, for the most part, can be protected by paying attention to both your incoming and outgoing mail, by paying attention to all of those data elements that people are tracking, that is, your name, your address, your Social Security number. The Social Security number is the holy grail. It's the coin of the realm, if you will, in the world of identity thieves. Your phone number, your date of birth, those kinds of things. So protecting personal information, including your mail and all your personal information, is important. Protecting all of your computers and mobile devices is extremely important. And then the third thing that I recommend is that everyone pay attention to their credit report, and I'd like to share with you how to get a copy of that credit report absolutely free so you can see what the bad guys are up to.
Yeah, those make a lot of sense, and certainly monitoring your credit report, having run hundreds of thousands of them during my career in doing collection work and asset location work, you really need to know what's on your credit report, because if you don't, things could be happening. Incorrect information could be on there that isn't identity theft related, and you can wind up with a bad credit score through no fault of your own.
Yeah, and my wife and I, when we became victims, we simply didn't know what to do, didn't know how it would affect us. Well, Kerry, it took us over 300 hours of our own time to repair the damage, and it took a little over 2 years. So if you become a victim, the chances that you're going to get out of it without spending hundreds of hours, man-hours to repair the problem, are slim and none. It's going to take quite an effort. And one of the fastest ways to get a handle on your credit score is to visit a website that is federally mandated by the government and monitored by the Federal Trade Commission. And if I can share that with you, it's www.annualcreditreport.com. At annualcreditreport.com, remember, it's federally mandated, federally monitored. This is the only place online you can actually get a free credit report without them trying to secretly sell you something on the side.
Amazing. And hey, great thing. You're able to do it, get on there, and see exactly what's going on. And once you've become a victim of identity theft, Dale, then things get a lot more complicated, don't they?
They do. Generally, identity theft victims don't know what has happened until 30 to 60 days after the event has occurred. So that's why putting a few it's not a question of if you're going to become a victim, it's just when and to what extent are you going to be victimized. So by being prepared in advance, there are some very, very simple things that you can do to secure your good name, to secure your credit, to protect your assets, to protect your nest egg, to protect your reputation, and to protect all that data that you work so hard to preserve.
Right. And then it's a time process of how, I guess you have to go file police reports, and you've got to do a bunch of things that show that you didn't use your credit card yourself, or you didn't request that credit card. So a lot of things have to be done in order to restore your reputation.
Yeah, I share that in my book, Identity Theft Secrets, Kerry. I unfortunately tell the story about my own victimization and how I was almost afraid to visit the local police station here in Los Angeles. I figured the LAPD is busy with other things that are more important, and I did not file a police report. Well, that is a problem, because in the event that I needed to prove in the future that I was actually a victim and not the perpetrator, I wasn't the bad guy, I was the victim, I had no independent corroboration. I had no proof, independent proof that I indeed was victimized. So what I like to share with you is that if you're going to make a police report, you're going to go a long way toward proving in the future to creditors, to credit bureaus, to the courts, to attorneys, that you were in fact a victim. So that's the first thing you do, file a police report. Second thing you do is you notify one of the three credit bureaus. The three major bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You can find the contact information for all three of them, the toll-free information and the websites, at my website, dalepenn.com. And you go and make a report there. All you have to do is contact one of those bureaus. They, by law, are required to notify the other two for you. You can place a credit freeze, you can place a fraud alert, and you begin to protect yourself from this crime before it begins to sap your assets and your energy.
Yeah, and the amount of time that I've heard of people spending trying to get this stuff straightened out, because it's not just your existing credit accounts. Oftentimes, the identity thieves will do you the favor of opening new credit card accounts, and then they're having your mail and your statements sent to other addresses so you never see them. And all of a sudden, you've got like a couple dozen credit accounts. They're all bad. And then you got to spend time trying to straighten it out. It's just daunting.
It is. And so there's something that you can do. And the good news is there's something you can do. You can learn to protect your own private information by locking down all your personal info, your name, your address, your social security number, not giving it to anyone that's not authorized. Number two, you can track your own credit progress by getting a copy of your credit report. Now, let me just mention that you're entitled to 3 of those free credit reports, one from each of the credit bureaus. When you visit annualcreditreport.com, I would urge listeners not to go to that site and get all 3, but to stagger their requests. Get one in April, get another one in August, get another one in November, and that way you can get year-round credit monitoring at no cost for yourself and for every member of your family. And the beauty of that system is that it's free, it's very, very detailed, and the government protects that information, so it's safe to go online and check it out.
And one other thing that evidently, I'm in South Florida now. I didn't know this, but South Florida is the epicenter for identity theft tax refund fraud, which has become huge, which can also make your life miserable because they steal your refund before you even get it there, and then you send in your tax return, and the IRS sends you a thing saying they've rejected your return because you already filed it.
Yeah, tax fraud is huge this time of year. I don't know if you know this, but last year in 2012, the IRS uncovered $5.2 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars in fraudulent refunds that they issued. They actually sent out $5 billion of our dollars for fraudulent returns. That's over 1 million false returns that were identified that translated into $5.2 billion in money that was returned to people who didn't have it coming. So there was one address in Michigan. It was just a P.O. box, and the IRS actually sent over 2,000 checks to one address. So incidents of identity theft are huge in the tax time, this time of year. And there are some very, very simple things that we can do and some scams that I'd like to share with you that you should look out for.
Okay. Well, it makes a lot of sense. So your book, tell us about the book and where we find it. Sure.
It's Identity Theft Secrets. I'm pleased that we won the Barnes & Noble Rising Star Award because of the book's noteworthy sales potential and the content. And we also won the Editor's Choice Award. And the book is just a very simple way of explaining exactly what you can do to lock down your personal information to help prevent personal, commercial, financial, medical, and criminal identity theft from happening to you. And you can find that book at my website, dalepenn.com, or you can just pick up a copy at Amazon or barnesandnoble.com.
Well, Dale, hey, it's great having you on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Don't forget, we are having the Liberty Mastermind Symposium June 28th and 29th in Dallas, Texas. It's real inexpensive to attend. David Morgan, Martin Armstrong, Jeff Berwick, so many others, Stefan Molyneux, people that you hear all the time on the internet telling you what's going on with the real economy and what you need to do to prepare. Sign up now. Either go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com or go to libertymastermind.us. Sign up. Robert and Ian and I are putting it on. It's going to be an amazing day that you don't want to miss. Dale, loved having you on the show. Thanks so much for coming on and educating us about identity theft. I thought I knew a lot about it, but really there is so much to know that you really need to buy the book.
Kerry, it's great talking to you. It's great sharing this information, and my desire is for everyone to learn how to prevent financial crime, how to preserve their nest egg, and protect their family into the future.
Great. Well, we'll talk with you again soon.
Thanks. Take care.
I keep hearing that many people believe that the best investments are sold by large investment houses. But how many people do you know who got rich in the stock market? I thought so. Jason Hartman has helped thousands of people create real wealth with real estate. He has over 20 years experience, and his company provides the complete solution for real estate investors. Isn't it time you acquired property in diverse, growing markets nationwide for as little as $15,000 down? Don't let inflation destroy the value of your savings, stocks, or bonds. Real estate is the one investment that allows you to profit from inflation. For cash flow and capital appreciation, there's nothing else like it. Make your money work as hard as you do by building an income property empire. Go to www.jasonhartman.com and tell him Kerry sent you.